And welcome everybody to episode number 36 of the Fighting Irish Daily Blitz. I'm your host, Rob Thitoff, also known as RPT. You can find me on Twitter at PThitoff. Again, that's at P's and Paul, T's and Tom, H-I, T's and Tom again, O-F, Frank. For all Notre Dame athletic updates, please go to my Twitter account. This is the Boston College recap. It's not going to be that long because it was pretty much total domination. For my instant reaction last night, I pretty much said all there really is to say, but let's go over it again. First, though, let me go over the our opponent's winning percentage real quick. For week 12, there were 7 wins to 5 losses. And overall this year, our opponent's winning percentage is at 58%. The biggest so-called upset, if you want to say that, North Carolina lost to Georgia Tech at home. That was kind of a bummer because I wanted them and Clemson to stay undefeated until the ACC championship game, but they pretty made an A against Georgia Tech, but give Georgia Tech credit. So, again, last night it was the 6th game where special teams has contributed to those points, and then defense getting us into good field position. Benjamin Morrison, again, 3 interceptions. This kid's just amazing. I started to think, when's the last time we had a lockdown corner at Notre Dame? I think never. I mean, you can say Julian Love's probably the last really good corner we had. He played from 2016 to 2019, if you count or actually just 2008, because we played in that Cotton Bowl before New Year's Eve where we got killed by Clemson. In any event, he played 3 seasons at Notre Dame. Back in the day, Todd Light, Bobby Taylor. But I'm telling you right now, as of right now, those guys can't hold Benjamin Morrison's jockstrap right now. He is that good. Now, whether he'll stay that good, that's yet to be determined. But again, they're not worthy of his jockstrap right now. He is that good. So I digress. Again, Isaiah Foskey, 25th sack of his career. He overtakes Justin Tuck, who had 24.5. What else? Again, Blake Grupe, he hit 3 field goals yesterday. That's a great sign because he's, like I always said, he was shitting the bed the last couple games kicking field goals. So let me just go over some other. Again, snowstorm. It was senior day. Congrats to the 25 seniors. Some of those seniors can come back next year. They do have some eligibility left. I'll get into that later this year, early next year, of who comes back, who actually goes into the draft. That's to be determined still. So having said that, okay, good. I just want to go over the main points. Let's just go over the stats really quick too. Again, this was total domination. Really, the only thing, Drew Pine kind of struggled early. I'm like, okay, here we go again. The weather was kind of affecting his throws. He was throwing low, throwing high. But for the most part, he did what he had to do, and that's the main thing in order to get the victory. So if we look here, first downs, Notre Dame 22-10 against Boston College. Third down, we were 8 of 13, so over 50%. Boston College wasn't bad, but again, they only had 1 drive into the red zone of Notre Dame, and they still couldn't score. They were 6 of 14. They were 1 of 2 on 4th down. We were 0 for 1. That's the only sort of criticism I had when we were going in for that final score, which would have made the game 51-0. Again, the final being 44-0. We had it about 4th and 1. Actually, we had it 3rd and 1, couldn't get a yard. And then 4th and 1. Maybe the snow had something to do with that. But that's my only sort of criticism of this game is we couldn't get that extra yard to get that final touchdown and get 50 points in the game. Total yards, 437 for Notre Dame, 173 by Boston College. Again, just domination. Rushing, 281 Notre Dame, 56 Boston College. That's what I really like right there because our rushing defense has been suspect and been up and down all year. That I'm really satisfied. I know Boston College sucks. They're not a great team, but at least we held a bad team 100 yards rushing, even 160 yards. That's great. Again, we're doing what we need to do against bad teams. That's the big thing is what I'm trying to say. After those, Drew Pine, again, more or less completed a tad above 50% of his passes, 13 to 25 for 156 yards, 1 TD, 0 interceptions, that's what I'm happy about. Emmett Moorhead, 9 of 22, 3 INTs, 2 Benjamin Morrison. Again, Benjamin Morrison is just, I can't say enough. This kid is a star. So rushing, Logan Diggs. That's the one thing I didn't mention yesterday. To me, he's the most improved player for Notre Dame this year. Again, last year there was rumors that he was thinking about transferring because the running back room, there's so much depth. This kid runs super hard. He's a lot stronger than last year. 15 carries, 122 yards, 1 touchdown, and he was so Logan Diggs. He had 15 carries for 122 yards. That's an 8.1 yard average. I haven't seen averages like that since Reggie Brooks in '92 when he had that great season with the backfield of him, Bettis, and Meyer. Aldrich Estime, 11 carries, 71 yards for 2 touchdowns. Chris Tyree, 6 for 50 yards. Lorenzo Styles got into the mix even as a receiver, 2 carries for 27 yards. Jerron Payne, the freshman, I believe he's from the Dayton area, 2 carries for 5 yards. Drew Pine, 1 for 4. And Mitchell Evans, 1 for 2 on a more or less a quarterback sneak, even though he's a tight end. Receiving, nothing really major. Michael Mayer, again, 5 receptions for 64 yards. And again, he went over the 2,000 receiving yards for his career. Again, he will go to the NFL. I'd be shocked if he stays another year. If we go here. Oh, actually, I want to mention this before I call it a day here. Here was the total defense yesterday. 54 total tackles, 4 sacks, 3 interceptions, and true freshman Jalen Sneed. You haven't heard too much about him this year, but he has gotten some playing time. 5 total tackles. Another one of these young studs that we have right now. And again, the future is looking brighter, Dame. But we have to finish the deal next week because next week we have USC. I don't know if anyone watched that. It was at UCLA's home field, which is the Rose Bowl. Back and forth game. And again, I'll get more into this into the USC preview. But again, 48-45 USC. They have a dynamic offense. Caleb Williams, he followed Lincoln Riley from Oklahoma after he took the job at USC. Phenomenal quarterback. He's probably nothing to take away from C.J. Stroud, but he's probably the best quarterback we're going to see on our schedule this year. Their offense is probably the best we've seen since OSU. I don't think it's as good as OSU, but it's pretty close seconds. The thing is, their defense sucks. So, again, this is a game where Drew Pine doesn't have to win it for us, but I don't want him to lose it for us either. It's going to be more or less a ground and pound, I think, to keep that offense off the field. But I think we have a defense to compete with USC and win this game. But, again, we'll get into that more. I'll either podcast tomorrow or Tuesday, kind of look at all the stats and see if there's any major injuries coming out of the games yesterday. But again, this is probably going to be my shortest podcast recap because there's not much to say. 44-0, total domination. It's one of those games we'll remember too because of the weather. I mean, that was the most snow I've ever seen at Notre Dame Stadium. That was pretty cool to see. After the game, some of the players were building snowmen actually. So again, I'm speechless. That's something for me to be speechless. So again, thank you for joining for episode 36. And as always, go Irish.